All right, folks, welcome back. This is game number 2 in the Tri-Series. We have host country Canada playing against visiting country USA. Canada took the win in game 1, so we are back tonight. This is 6 p.m., second game for USA. I know they are going to want to come back for the win. This is that opportunity to win in the series, but regardless of the outcome, we do have game number 3 happening again tomorrow at Collingwood. I do want to take a look. We have the teams practicing right here behind me. USA directly behind me, Canada on my left, so they are getting warmed up. The game is about to start in around 10 minutes. Let's take a look at some of the highlights we had from the last game, looking at some key aspects both teams will be looking to work on to improve and execute moving forward. Okay. Here we go. We got some excellent feeds from the Canadian team, some wonderful shots from the distance on both sides overall. And from the USA side, oh, that was the beautiful interception from the Canadian team there. That's right. And those were some great feeds from US, looking long range down to their shooter, not wasting any time at all. And I know they're hoping to do that again in this game, to make the most of every center pass, as I said in the last game. Getting all the rebounds, keeping possession, minimizing those fumbles, those unforced errors, getting any steals if we can. And boy, will I say that was very, very intense. It was a little physical. And I'm sure there will be no lack of either of those in tonight's second match. Both teams had some time to rest, to recover, to refuel. And now they're getting warmed up again. Canada looking for that second win. USA looking for their first, to add some pressure to Canada. And I'm sure even with that one win under their belts, beautiful pass there to their second shooter. Even with that first win, I'm sure their confidence level isn't too high. They're wanting to keep their head in the game. Oh yes, that was the splits from the USA goal attack. I agree, that was a highlight of the game for sure. To be able to have the ball, go into the splits and get back out of it. Not something you see at every netball game. And as we wrap up the highlights here, we did have an interview from the captains on both teams. Leo went down courtside, so let's go take a look at that.
It's just a big part of Team Canada, especially in this game that we saw, was your guys' defense, the zoning to the individual aspects, and you as a goal attack. It's a very underestimated part of your game, how much defense you play, and just how do you think that is something that Team Canada really tries to impart with their players?
Yeah, defensively, it's our culture to be a really strong defensive unit, and that's something that we practice every day in practice, and it's defense down the court. It's not just defense in the defensive end. We want to play defense all the way down the court and put pressure on them to make, extra plays and tire them out.
And that you did. Team Canada had a lot of second chance places with the defense in the attacking third. It really led to you guys getting that lead. Just a question for you as a local British Columbian player. Do you think it had a lot with you going up with the BC team and playing nationally from there as well?
I started in 2021, so I originally started with basketball, but I love the culture of netball. I think it's so welcoming, and it's such a good competitive atmosphere that I just love being a part of it, so yeah.
And we're glad to have you as well. Just thank you, and thank you for the interview, and we wish you luck on the rest of your tournament. Team USA captain Sasha Lee Washington. Through this game, she played center, wing defense, and a little bit in the attacking end, winged attack as well. You're quite all over the court. Is that part of your usual positions?
Yes, I normally play center and wing attack for the team.
And that is your defensive aspects, especially along the circle edge. You're getting a lot of those touches, and I just have to say, very well done. And in just post-game, how are you feeling towards the rest of the tournament for Team USA?
We are feeling very good. We know we have to do a lot of reflection, work on more connection, so we can have a better performance in our next game. But we are looking forward to our next game, hoping to do a lot better, and come out on top.
Going into this game, just started the first quarter, you guys had a lot of unforced errors, especially with the stepping. Do you think that was getting used to the umpires, or do you think that had a little bit to do with nerves and what's not?
I think it's a little bit of everything. So once we get that first ball, we have to shake off the nerves, get used to the ball, get used to the court. But after that, we learn our areas, learn how to handle the ball, and did a pretty good job afterwards.
Now, what was Team USA's preparation for this tournament like coming in? Like, what was some of the culture that you guys were really trying to get into the players?
Because of our geographical location, it can be hard to get everybody together to train. But even coming here, we try to do a lot of team bonding to get used to our players, so we have, good connections going into our games.
And just something about a fun fact about Team USA today, you guys have a lot of debuting players, right?
We have like 4 debuting players, which is awesome because we are redeveloping, so we are always looking for new talent. We have a few, and we're happy to have them in the team, work with them so we can, develop the sport and move forward.
Right, new talent that was just start of this second or third quarter, you had that new GK come in, and they changed the entire energy, especially towards the end, getting that block in. I think that'll be a very large part of your guys' game going into the next couple of games.
Elizabeth did a great job.
Thank you for staying and having this interview with us. Lovely to have you. And I wish you luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
All right, so nice to get to hear from both sides of the team, the captains, see how things went. And we had a chance to do a bit of our own analysis, talk to some people in the crowd, some of the players, to look at what some keys to the game were and what they're looking to get and execute out of the next game. So let's look at the first team here. We have for Team Canada, some keys to the game, looking at keeping multiple options available, having that second offer, the second pass there if the first one is denied by Team USA. Making sure we're executing all those passes clean, into the space, direct, fast, and watching out for some of those unforced errors. It looked like for Team Canada, there were a few of those footwork calls that we'd want to avoid this time around. And for Team USA, a few things we're looking at. They brought a lot of intensity, some physicality, so trying to maintain this intensity while staying safe, while staying within the rules. Also limiting some unforced errors, perhaps more on the side of passes as well, and taking the time when getting those turnovers, getting the rebounds to reset and be able to successfully execute and convert these turnovers into more points on the scoreboard. So those are the keys to the game. Let's see how things turn out. We've got both teams coming out on court, getting set up. I didn't get a chance to see who got the first center pass here, but it will be a Canada center pass, who are shooting towards the left side of the court first. And if you didn't know in netball, we switch sides after every quarter, not only at halftime. So there's the center pass whistle. They managed to maintain possession. Getting to pull that obstruction call, even executing a little bit of patience can allow you to pull that call if you're doing it intentionally or not. But at the end of the day, the goal is to get the ball in the hoop. So now USA with the ball, trying to get their landing foot. Looks like their landing foot was actually on top of a Canadian player's foot, but they managed to maintain balance. Looks like they checked with each other. Everything's okay. Play on. 1-1. The game is tied, and just like the first game earlier today, it was a very close game for the beginning. And Canada managed to pull a lead. USA tried to close the gap several times, but in the end, Canada maintained their lead to win the game. So USA has also had time to review footage. They've had time to debrief with each other, with their coaches. And we had just a bit too high of a pass there. 2 players on USA trying to save it before going off court. But ultimately, Canada wins possession with the throw on. And doing well to maintain possession despite the contact. Unfortunately, just a foot from my end, and I'm very close to the line, I would say barely a millimeter off of the sideline to give USA that throw on. But netball is a game with rules. So USA gets to take their lead in this tournament so far. 2-1 for USA. We're just about to approach 2.5 minutes into the first quarter. Great hands from the Canadian wing defense with a loose ball that falls out of, or was contacted, tipped out of the hands. So they get the ball and a nice pass to get a close shot. And some contact called after the hoop. Some conversation between the umpire there. Everything seems cleared up. This was a similar pass we saw from USA to Canada, but this time Canada to USA this game, and a held ball call. That is 3 seconds. You can only hold the ball for 3 seconds in netball before it must be released or shot. Canada looking for some support outside the circle. Managed to find a player. They're holding their spot. You see the center and the wing attack. They're not allowed inside the circle. Neither are their checks. So they're trying to hold that space, hold their check on one side and their space on the other, asking for the ball there. USA bringing an incredible amount of intensity to this game and really wanting to make the most of these turnovers. Just like we said in the keys to the game, making the most of these turnovers, converting them into goals. And Canada gets the rebound, trying to prevent a 3-second call there, and USA managed to pick up that pass. Quick little passing work from USA, unfortunately, got tipped out by Canada, so USA gets the throw in. We got some sandwiching happening there to prevent the goal shooter from getting the ball, and it worked. The goalkeeper managed to get it. And we're seeing a little bit of these unforced errors coming up. Pressure from the USA is not lacking. And neither is it from Canada. But we are seeing that coming in the form of some contact calls. Attempts at interception. Sometimes the timing can be the difference between successfully getting the hands on the ball or receiving that contact call. And we had someone on the USA team break at the center pass. So they breached that third line into the center third too soon. And Canada managed to gain possession to that open shooter, trying to keep the ball safe, passing it a little further out of the circle. And a big contest between the two shooter and keeper duo there. So the goal attack takes the penalty, and that's a point for Canada. The score is 3 for Canada, 4 for USA, who maintain their lead, but it might not be for long because Canada has the center pass. Looking to their defense for support. A little bit of a give and go there. USA closing in on those short passes. They're trying to deny the short passes. They know what Canada's trying to do now. And the USA bench is loud. And that's a contact call for Canada. Good attempt by goal defense to get the steal. Needing to hustle back on defense to deny the goal attack entry into the circle. You can see that there's so much going on in netball away from the ball. A lot of tactics, a lot of defensive moves to prevent that second pass from happening. Good pressure and tip off of Canada, but at the end the last touch was by USA, so great effort on the pressure there, so Canada gets the throw on. Canada and USA don't seem fazed by the temperature in here. I will say if there was a thermometer, it would read hot because it is very hot, and playing in the heat only adds to the difficulty, to the challenge of the sport, being able to perform and execute. Rebound by Canada, who get the penalty and the point. 3-5 for USA. Canada doing a good job taking care of the ball, looking at their options. Making the safe passes if they need to. And settling things down when needed as well. So the score is 4-5. USA has that lead and the center pass, so they can extend their lead by another point. Some similar tactics on both teams when it comes to those defensive moves and plays. And Canada letting that ball go out as it was last touched by USA, allowing them to reset and get the throw in. Goal defense calling for that ball and ready to support again. And I love that look to the shooter. That wing attack and goal attack seem to make a good pairing, whether they're both in the shooting circle or helping each other from the feeding end. It's always nice to see. All right, Canada lucky with that contact call. Goal shooter trying to position herself to get the rebound. USA trying to deny that. Never a dull moment. You have a penalty pass. No one's just standing around. There's a lot going on to make sure whatever happens when that ball is released goes in their favor. So now for USA, super high speed. I thought they might crash into each other. Goal defense trying to go for an interception. Goalkeeper then managing to get a tip on the ball. But USA getting a penalty pass outside the circle for a nice close shot. With the success on that penalty. So US is tied with Canada. The score is 6-6. I looked away from the scoreboard there briefly. I'm sure you're not, because you can see the scoreboard right on your screen. That's it. One more for Canada, who take the lead 7-6. And USA looking to tie. Goal shooter standing there asking for that pass. And the Canadian team trying to do a switch there on the defense. Putting good pressure, but USA managed to maintain possession and get a goal. Well done to USA. Great take on the ball for the wing attack. Bit of a spin move there. Oh, another spin move. Lovely, and a nice lob. Great holding of the space. And the rebound taken by USA. I will say this feels like a different game. I mean, they're wearing different colors, but the intensity is still there, but something about this feels a little bit different. Feel free to share your thoughts in the chat too. And it is a close game, 7-8. USA has the lead and the center pass. But remember, in the last game, when they got to 7 points, both teams were tied too. So I'm not going to jump to conclusions at all. And the lineups also are a little bit different on both teams, based on visual memory. Who knows? Maybe something that happened in the change room, some discussions they had, it just changed the game a little bit. Yeah, the umpire's wasting no time to make those contact calls. And quick passing work by the Canadian team, who get another point on a penalty shot. All right, ball's coming back, but USA maintained possession. As red center, that's the Canadian center, was a little bit too close with the hands. And USA doing a good job getting the rebound, but unfortunately, one too many steps, gets the footwork call. You know what Canada are looking to do, convert it to a point, but USA with a beautiful steal right to their shooter, who lines himself up perfectly by the hoop and gets the point. USA starting to grow their lead a little bit. They have a 2-point lead, 10-8. And there's less than 1 minute left to the first quarter. Can Canada tie the game before the end? Well, USA has the center pass. They may need to get an interception here or force a turnover. But USA is doing a good job taking care of the ball, seeing the player through the crowd there, the goal attack, avoiding some sort of traffic jam or pileup. And USA maintain their lead. Looking down court, yes, what a beautiful pass from the wing attack. Just a little too late before the buzzer went off, so the goal does not count. The score is 11 for USA, 9 for Canada at the end of the first quarter. We'll be back in 4 minutes for the second quarter. All right, we're back. Remember, Canada almost got to score on that last center pass, but the time just ran out. So USA starts the second quarter in the lead by 2 points, 11-9, and with that first center pass, but a beautiful interception by Canada. Little bit of a strong defense there by USA, but it managed to fall out of court, so worked in Canada's favor to maintain possession in that moment. And that was the second option there that they looked to for the wing attack. Trying to get it in the circle. A penalty pass will help them get there with the goal. Very close game. I don't know if you're sitting, but I sure am standing. There's no way I could sit on my seat watching this game. USA knowing that that pass was coming, two players anticipating it, but the goal attack taking care of the ball, making sure it doesn't turn over once again, going for that safe pass. Of course, it would be nice if it can go straight to the shooter, but if we have to make an extra pass to get it there, that's okay. So the game is tied. USA with the center pass, going for that third option there. Launching it down to the goal attack who's come out of the circle, trying to deny them entry, but the goal shooter is open. And they take the shot. They don't need that penalty shot. They got it in the first try. I think defensively, things have been taken to a whole new level here. A lot less room for error, a lot less time to get a pass through successfully before the defensive side catches up. Yeah, looking at that giant space the goal shooter made for themselves on the USA team, allowing them to be patient, gain clean possession and balance with the ball to bring it back into the circle like that. And a contact call on the Canadian goal defense, reaching from above. So the goal attack takes the penalty shot. And a fake move just misread by the Canadian team. Goal attack makes quick work to gain possession. And the USA wing defense just lost their balance. A foot went offside. Trying to hide it from the umpire. Not a bad plan, if I say so myself. But it was caught by the umpire, so good job to them. Canada gets the possession. Good reach by the USA center. Canada maintains possession and sees that goal shooter who's waiting, and then asking for the ball. Canada trying to keep USA goal attack outside of the circle, allowing for some of those small passes, but subsequently trying to deny entry into the shooting circle. Good tip by USA. They're getting quite a few turnovers this time around. And lots of action happening in the shooting circle. Like I said, the ball doesn't have to be there for them to be moving around a lot. And all that pressure from Canada allows them to get the throw on. And the landing foot just, I think the intention was for that second step to be the landing foot, but I think the ball arrived into the hands of the wing defense a little bit earlier than they thought, and so with that extra step, it's a footwork call, and USA also struggles to keep the ball inside within the court boundaries, so Canada gets another throw-in opportunity. And that's a 3-second call. Time is relative, right? How fast is 3 seconds? I don't know. And is it at the beginning of the 3 or at the end of the 3 seconds that it's called? That's a question for the umpires. All right, Canada trying to find their spaces inside the circle. And we have the umpire pulling some of the players aside. Wanting to make sure the game stays safe. Before resuming play. Also an opportunity for everyone to catch their breaths. And that's a point for Canada. Canada actually in the lead now. The score is 14-13, and they do have their center pass, so it's an opportunity to extend the lead, the furthest they've had so far this game. And a small fumble of the ball. I know that was the intention anyways, so it was nice to watch that follow through and work out in the end. And just double checking who has the center pass here. Confirm that it is the USA. The score I'm looking at on the scoreboard, which is run by the officiants, is 15-14 for Canada, who have the center pass. And Canada getting one more point on the board with that nice shot by the goal attack. Little fumble by USA, but they managed to get possession, but not the second time around, so Canada. Oh, USA with the throw on. Opting for that second option there. And a contact call by Canada. Goal defense. It's going to be a pass, not a shot, going to their goal shooter, who managed to get a little bit closer to the hoop. They have a little bit more height as well. The center was ready to give the ball, but they weren't sure which player is open, which would be the best pass. And that patience did pay off there, the goal attack, converting that to one more point for Canada. The score is 17-15 for Canada. A much closer game this time around between the two countries. You'd think that watching 3 games in a row between the same countries could get repetitive, could get boring. No, not at all. There is so much excitement happening. I think I could watch this a little bit longer too. So both Canadian defenders are out of play. The goal shooter gets an uncontested shot, decides to take an extra step in to get closer to the hoop, but has to balance on that one foot. If they put the second foot down after they step closer, then it would be a footwork call. So if you ever see a shooter stepping in and balancing on one foot, that's because they have to They're taking that step to get closer to the hoop, but they're not allowed to put that second foot down. So it's a bit of a risk too. And that's why you often also see it when there's a penalty call, because you don't have to contest or have any contact happening. Beautiful shot by the goal shooter, who is relieved to get that shot in. Wing attack with a strong drive, asking for the ball. Almost an over a third call, but the feeder, the wing attack from USA, making sure they don't cross that line. The ball has to be touched in each third of the court. It cannot skip a third, whether that is that center third or whether you're throwing it on from the baseline. It cannot go directly to the middle third. It has to be touched in that defending or shooting third first. Otherwise, the call would be over a third. And a clean interception by Canada, who gets a penalty pass due to some contact. Canada wanting to keep clean passes right where their teammate wants it, right in the space where the defender isn't, and it hits the post. I don't think many people were expecting that, but the USA defense did a good job preventing the shooter from cutting baseline for that pass, regardless. So Canada trying to get the ball closer to the hoop. And with that contest, it's going to be a throw on by Team USA. Stolen by, oh, not quite. USA center keeps possession. And a throw in by Team Canada in the center third, using their goalkeeper for help. And some contact happening there. Canada has the ball and gets a point. But time is called. Looks like the goal defense is going to come off after that contact to the face. So we have someone else coming on for goal defense. Looks like there's a few more substitutions happening here to readjust the lineup. All right, Canada with the center pass. A fake move by the goal attack with the pass, but it didn't manage to stay in court. So USA gets the throw on. And USA's looking for those open players, making clean work of bringing the ball down the court. And another opportunity for USA with a penalty pass or shot. Closer to the top of the circle. Looks like they're going to try and go for a pass rather than a shot in this case, but both players have contacted, so they might go for the shot this time. Looks like they're giving it to the goal shooter. All right, the score is tied, 19-19, 2 minutes left before halftime. USA with the drive and the desire, the opportunity to take a lead, making sure the ball doesn't fall out of court, keeping that foot inside the shooting circle, and getting closer to the hoop. Just falling out of court, short of the net. Found the rim, found the backside of the rim, but not the net. All right, off-ball contact called. Goalkeeper's going to move the play up the court, looking for the open players this time. Seeing their shooter down there, beautiful look from Canada, who managed to convert the missed shot by USA into a goal, which allowed them to take the lead. We have 1 minute and 5 seconds left. Seeing their goal shooter again, or the goal attack, with another point in very, very little time. Goal attack on USA doing a good job coming out to help, take care of the ball, and helping the goal shooter give them some space to take the ball in the shooting circle. All right, traffic jam here. Quickly resolved, and another point. USA hoping to get one more point. Good look to the hoop. And a good effort at getting the possession back by USA. But that is the end of the second quarter. We're coming to halftime. Canada managing to get into the lead here by 2 points, 22-20. We have an 8-minute break. I think a lot has happened over this time, and both teams are going to make the most of having just a few more minutes to rest, rehydrate, and also come up with that game plan and the lineup needed to win in the second half of the game.
Right, hello. Back with the halftime report. Obviously different this time with both teams having now had the chance to familiarize themselves with each other's play style. Going into the second half, we have Team Canada leading Team USA by 2 goals, 22-20. Team USA, their defensive physicality playing so much into their playing style and really causing trouble in terms of forced turnovers on the Canadian side, really becoming their bread and butter in terms of points. Understanding coming into game 2, they are a game down and need this win, and they did just that. Offensively, their shooting circle capitalizing on the contact calls coming their way. On the opposite side, Team Canada had the confidence of the first win behind them, and the focus being on how can they carry that into Game 2. Especially with a differing starting line, coming into that first quarter, they did an impressive job of taking advantage of Team USA's physicality, absorbing those contact calls where they could, but where they were having difficulty is converting off of those steals in Team USA's errors. Coming into the second half, the key importance is managing strain and exhaustion, and as well as trying to clean up their own play. Looking into officiating too, we had 2 different styles, being that the contact calls were were called more often than not than in the first game. Looking back at the replays, we can see just how well Team USA did in converting off of those steals, almost speeding up their play in comparison to Game 1. Right. And what a steal from Team Canada. Just perfectly timed on that one, but not able to convert on the goal. Moving past into crowd interviews.
Showtime, baby.
Yeah, funsy.
Hollywood.
Hello. This dude on this side. We are on this side. Selene. Sorry, Selene. The opposite side. So you're focusing on this guy first, and then we'll go to Panther. Sorry. Okay. Do I take this off? Should I take this off? No. So, hello. Who do we have with us today?
Hi, my name is Tristan.
Nice to meet you, Tristan. I'm Leo.
Nice
Right.
to meet you, Leo.
Yeah, and where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Western Washington State.
Western Washington State. So, sorry, Washington State. So, are you here supporting Team USA today?
I'm actually not. I've got a friend on Team Canada that I'm supporting, so.
Wow. Would you mind giving them a shout out?
Yeah, Kennedy Payne.
Wow, folks. So we have fans all the way from Team USA supporting Team Canada. Sorry, not from Team USA, from the USA. But wow, thank you for coming to and celebrating. Do you know much about netball?
I don't really know much about netball.
So from what you've seen so far today, what are some things that you've noticed?
I can tell there's a lot of inspiration from other sports, and vice versa as well. But I'm just kind of starting to learn the rules. I'm sitting up there with a rule book on my phone trying to figure out some of the calls that the refs are making and things like that.
Right, and some calls they have been making today. But thank you for doing this small little interview, and I'll let you get back to watching the game.
Thank you so much.
No problem. All right, and to my right, we have Miss B. Bennett Tasha.
Hey, Leo. How's it going?
I'm doing so well. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
I'm doing good. So on a goofy note, my question for you is, if you were an ice cream flavor, what would your flavor be, and what would be your main ingredient?
Ooh.
Sorry, what would the name of your flavor be, and what would be the main ingredient?
Good question. If you know, you know. B. Bennett.
Now, is it the flavor hiding in Miss B. Bennett's bun? Is it?
It truly is in B. Yeah, it is. It's in the bun. Yeah.
Right, so if you know, you know.
Yes.
Okay, now moving on to a more serious note, but still with some goofiness. I'm curious, if you had to choose, if you were in like a finals game situation and you needed to have 7 players that you could call right up and be sure that they would represent you to the full amount, but you can only choose the 7 from this gym, who would it be?
Why don't I turn that question to you, since you have played on Team Canada? Let's go.
So with my prior experience and just what I've seen of this game, I think my starting 7 I have to take LaDonna from Team Canada.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. I would too. Yeah.
Just from today's 2 games, she's just done a remarkable job of rebounding and really going for those second balls. And then I have to take Adrian, team captain, Avi.
Yep. I'm with you on that. Yep.
But just to space it out from Team Canada to Team USA, really showing her stripes today is Team USA's captain, Sasha Lee Washington. I would take her at my center position. Such a great aspect of both offense and defense throughout the court, and just letting her have the free reign to go for everything.
I agree. No, I would do that. Yeah, 100%.
Right, and I take Amanda Francis at my GK, the GD from the Team USA side, and Kat Dang in my Washington. Sorry. In my wing attack. Oh my God. Bye.
Good job. Well done.
All right, we're back for the 3rd quarter of this Tri-Series, game number 2. Canada with the center pass. Had a chance to check in with that goal defense who got that facial injury. Might be a bit of a black eye, but it looks like they're holding on. So let's see how Canada can do with this throw on. Beautiful look to the goal attack there, who pops out undefended. Gets the goal. USA with the center. Canada trying to get that steal there. Unfortunately gets a contact call, so USA with the penalty pass outside the circle. Things are feeling a little bit slower coming into the second half. Not necessarily in a bad way, but when you're playing against another team, sometimes you're reading off of them. And with a new lineup, always trying to adjust. Goal shooter, getting that contact, goal attack, getting the contact, but they put the ball down because they're hustling to the circle. When one of the defenders has to stand out of play, that's 2-on-1, wanting to take advantage of that, and that's exactly what they did, extending their lead to 24-20. Canada hoping to maintain that lead, but USA knowing what they're capable of and what they have done so far this tournament. Rebound by the goal shooter, getting their own rebound right under the hoop, managing just to touch the rim so that they can regain possession there. If that ball did not touch the rim and they caught that ball that was in the air back in their own hands, it would have been considered a repossession or replay ball, and it would have been a free pass to the USA. So that's one more rule for you about netball. USA with another point, 25-21 for Canada, who has the center pass. A little bit of a fake there and making quick work to move the ball down into the circle, into the shooter, who's popping it back out to get closer. Nice reach by the goalkeeper. But in the end, turned into an obstruction. They don't seem too happy about that. But USA does get the rebound, so we can't dwell on that for too long, can we? Just a misread of the direction the receiver was running to get that pass. Going untouched, so Canada gets the throw in. Good effort by the USA goal attack. Bringing it back to where it happened. Umpires having to watch what's happening where the ball is, but also where the ball isn't. Great effort by the goalkeeper to deny that pass to the goal attack. And a nice pass from shooter to shooter. And that's it, one more point for Canada. USA center pass. Looking for that second option, which is in the circle. Throwing it across the circle, managing to keep the ball on court. But Canada there to be the one to receive it. Lots of hands. USA's getting their hands on these balls. But Canada's managing to keep possession with that penalty shot. Little bit of a delayed whistle there for that center pass. Good hustle from the goal defense to get that loose ball, but it is a contact, so goal shooter steps in. A short pass to the goal attack, who gets a point. Canada's extending their lead, 28-21. Looking a little physical there. Both teams trying to maintain possession. USA getting a point, and now Canada looking for their response to that point. which is exactly what they wanted. Good interception by Canada wing defense. And of course, the first look, always you want it to be down court, looking for the shooter that's available. Canada making that one look a lot easier than I'm sure it really was in reality. And USA making sure they're continuing to put pressure. Some substitutions being made right now by Team USA. We have a switch up of shooters and the goal attack and the wing attack. I love how they all help each other put their positions on, because you have that Velcro in front, but you need someone else to help you with the Velcro on the backside. Maybe some of you who've played netball before remember what that feels like. We can call it a team bonding moment. And we're hearing the whistle lots on court for this game, but neither team is letting them or letting it slow things down. And a good shot by the goal shooter. Looks like Team Canada's found their flow. They've suddenly extended their lead. They were initially down by 2-3 points. Now they're up by 10, which is what we saw happen in the last game as well. But how will USA respond this time? What are they looking for? Look at that goal shooter. She's asking for the ball. She has been asking for it. There we go. It can be really hard to see it too. As a short wing player myself, it can be very hard to see it, but knowing and trusting that your teammate is there is part of it too. And they did a good job lobbing that ball into their shooter. Some contesting of the rebound there. It's no game happening, but keeping the intensity up the whole time. Goal attack open and vocally asking for the ball, letting their teammates know, I am open. Shooter again, letting her teammates know they're open. And I'll say that is a response from Team USA. 2 points in a row. And it might not be over either. It looks like a small miscommunication by Team Canada. Looking at different spaces on the court. But they do manage to get the ball back. Here's one more try. Wanting to make sure they don't make a mistake this time. A shot and the rebound. Goal attack gets it this time. One more point for Canada. 33-24. We have 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Good hustle by Team USA, maintains possession. Using their defensive line to help keep the ball in possession, prevent any held ball calls. Goalkeeper and goal shooter, lots of off ball, contesting, delaying, denying happening. Good shot by goal attack on Team USA. Getting one more point. Canada's center looking for the open player. And because of all the contact happening inside the circle, you can see that once a player gets the ball, they're trying to hold their ground first before being able to turn around, look up, look for the shot or the pass, whatever it is. Maintain balance, and who knows, they might end up getting a contact call. So being patient, being able to hold your ground and hold your space is so valuable in this game. If you didn't notice it, see if you can keep an eye on that this time. Looking straight to the shooter, what a great decision. Goal attack was ready for that second option, but the shooter was also there and ready for that ball. USA, though, getting that rebound and the throw on. Contact on Canadian goalkeeper. One more point for USA. USA is closing in on the lead. We have 34-27, so it's a 7-point game with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in the third. And an opportunity to turn it into a 6-point game. Goalkeeper getting their hands on the ball. It rolls out of court, and the umpire says it is a USA throw-in. Good job by the Canadian wing attack to get their hands on it and stay onside without falling into the defensive third. And USA managing to get the possession back. Shooters on both sides doing quite well. And that wing attack knows they're going to get the second pass. They're not even trying to get the second or the first center pass there. They're letting the goal attack get it, and they're ready for that quick second pass so they can pop it into the goal shooter. And that play worked quite successfully this time. Great look for the shooter. But unfortunately, a little bit too far. The ball falls into this auxiliary room, and some contact is made between the goal shooter and the wall. It looks like they've managed to get up. They're ready to play. There may be some moisture on the floor, checking to make sure it is safe for the players before play continues as a throw on, and the timer is restarted. Excellent steal by the goal shooter. And an attempt at a save, but they were out of court when they touched the ball. So Canada has another option or opportunity to bring the ball down the court, looking for the open player, making those square passes when needed, making sure they don't footwork. And I think it's going to be a shot here. Another good effort to save the ball by the Canadian goal shooter this time. Great movement on court by USA, but denied by the Canadian goal defense, who's making sure they get back in the game. Not much opportunities to celebrate in netball, unlike some other sports where there are those natural breaks. The pace is very fast. And once the goal is scored, sure, you can say it's a break, but it really isn't. They're resetting. They're trying to get back into position to get that center pass. And Canada with a rebound. In their shooting circle. Goal attack. Not letting any distractions around them take away from an opportunity to score a point. And that's the end of the third quarter. 36 for Canada, 28 for USA. Canada did have a 10-point lead at some point, and USA managed to close the gap by 2 more points. So let's see what happens. We have 1 more quarter left. We'll be back in 3 minutes and 45 seconds. All right. I think this is quarter number 4. The scoreboard says 3, but I'm pretty sure we're in number 4 here. It would be very exciting if we had one more. I wouldn't mind that. USA has the first center pass. And they've done a good job keeping it clean and getting an interception, going for it twice. Good effort from the goal defense. But they know they need to get back on defense there. Beautiful steal by the goal attack. Pulls it in with one hand. And I love to see all the support in the chat on YouTube as well. Thank you for joining, and hopefully you're also enjoying being able to watch this on the live stream, especially if you weren't able to make it out to Burnaby in Canada today. Love to see the support. Good tip-off by the goalkeeper. USA making sure they maintain possession. Goal defense trying to deny that short pass, and they did. They had to pass it out long to the goal attack, and the goal shooter gets the rebound. This seems to be a play that works well for Canada. To be able to bring the ball down court relatively quickly. And the goal is to get some points out of it. This time looking for an interception from the Canadian side, and USA trying to make the most of that turnover. And that's a held ball call, 3 seconds. Sometimes I forget about that call, especially when a player is about to shoot. Easier to notice these 3-second moments when the player's trying to release the ball out of their hands, but when the player's about to shoot, or it looks like they're about to shoot, I tend to forget because I assume they're going to release the ball anytime. So it's a good job to the umpires to be keeping track with that internal timer. A missed shot by USA, but they do get the throw in, a no-look pass to their goal shooter, who is saved by their teammate on the bench, and Canada gets the possession. A difficult one to catch there for the goal attack, who's trying to get back in the circle, find their space. And another good execution there. This has been such an exciting game to watch. The level of skill, the level of intensity, the speed at which both teams play in. It's been a great matchup so far. I mean, I'm struggling to remember to blink. I just want to keep my eyes open. So I know I'll be sleeping well tonight, and I'm sure all of these players will too. 2 games, 2 international games in one day. Doesn't happen all the time. So kudos to all of them for putting in that work, representing their countries, and coming back again tomorrow morning. Canada trying to make the most of this unforced error here. A loose ball out of the USA hands. And stolen by the goal shooter. This has happened a couple times, so excellent looks from the USA team. Being able to take advantage of a turnover as an offensive player and switch into a defensive mode to get the ball back right away before it even has a chance to come down court. I would say that's a sign of a strong team from both ends of the court all the way down the play. What some people would call a risky pass, but if you know where the ball is going and you know where the defensive players are, you can see how well that turns out and how cool it looks. One more point for USA. They've done a good job closing the gap. Only a 5-point deficit for them, and lots of time left in the game. We're at 9 minutes, 15 seconds in the 4th quarter, and I can confirm it is the 4th quarter. making sure not to get a 3-second call, knowing when the pressure might just be a bit too much, making it a pass to the goal attack and taking that shot. Sometimes there's more than one way to do something right or to do it well. And one more point for USA. They make sure they don't lose that gap or let it grow anymore either. And the goal shooter getting that lob ball in the space that they were going for. Maybe a little bit higher than they were wanting or expecting, which pulled them further away from the hoop, but taking advantage of those penalties too to convert it into a goal. Great timing and reading of the moves from the USA end. When one player receives a pass, they turn to find their teammate who's ready right away. That can be a very reassuring feeling as a player with the ball who needs to release it in 3 seconds flat. Big lob to their goal attack, who gets a penalty shot. And we can feel it, we can see it. The pace is slowing down a little bit. They're getting tired. They've played hard. That's another 3-second call. But it doesn't mean the intensity has to change at all. And I don't think the intensity has changed that much either. A steal from the USA center, who landed inside the shooting circle. So that is an offside call. Canada gets that free pass. And right away when that shooter releases, they are asking for the ball again. And they saw their goal attack, but the ball was released maybe a bit too early because the goal attack was still out of the court. But that's okay. Canada managed to get the ball back in their defensive third. Let's try this again. We might have to try it one more time. Let's see what USA can do with this possession. You could see the panic settling in their faces, anticipating, shoot, that 3-second call might come real soon. Should I go square? Should I pass through? And that's what I mean about having options, making sure that if your first option isn't there, there's a second. And that might be a second player, that might be the same first player making a second move, re-offering, finding another space. (42-37) for Canada, who maintain their 5-point lead with just over 5 minutes left. Little mix-up on who has the center pass, waiting for the whistle. They are all anticipating the center pass and waiting for that whistle. It is confirmed, Canada center pass. Looks like there's been some confusion a couple times in this game with whose center pass it is. That's why we have both officials. The reserve official, the reserve umpire as well, and the score bench keeping track of whose center pass it is. And you can see it again, USA making sure they have their balance, they maintain possession, especially when there's so much contact happening around. Canada looking to score one more point, needing A player open inside the circle, the goal shooter having re-offered 3-4 times just within this point alone, and managing to score the point as well. Goal attack recognizing those efforts with a good high five. And that's what I love about team sports. Last touch by Canada, I think, and they keep it in play, but who can have the possession? It looks like it's Canada's ball, but is it a throw-in? Or is it on court? It is on court. And we might have an injury from one of those players, offensive players from USA. But the play's continuing. It's recognized by the umpire, who's telling them to either get on court or call for time. One more point for Canada. The shooter has decided to stay on court. And it's USA center pass. Goal shooter's taking it because they're open, but it doesn't look like they are able to continue. Let's see what... We have an injury time called. I believe the goal shooter will be substituted off. Canada looking to come up with a game plan. For the attacking end there. And play is resuming with the substitutions. Clean steal by the Canadian goal defense. Canadian team communicating, telling them, okay, let's make the safe pass, let's make those square balls so that the shooters can reset, move down court. That is an over a third ball, and before the ball even left the goal attack's hands, they knew the error that was made. And these things happen. They happen. It's happened to me before in a tournament. So we'll get back on defense. And USA, they're going to work. They're trying to get another point there. Make the most of Canada's unforced errors, right? Just like that. So 45-39 for Canada. Canada has a 6-point lead, but USA has an opportunity to close that by 1. In the next center pass here, we have 1 minute and 36 seconds left. Straight to the shooter, beautiful look, knowing that they don't have much time left. They only need 5 more points. And Canada thinking, okay, let's take care of the ball. We don't need to rush anything here. We have the lead, and we don't have a shot clock like in basketball. We just need to maintain possession. Can we get open? Can we release the ball within 3 seconds? And I can hear the Canadian bench telling their teammates to shoot the ball, take those shots, try and extend the lead by any way if we can. And the last touch there was by USA before it went out, so Canada does maintain possession with less than a minute left, and the time continues to run. So let's see what they'll do. They're gonna take the shot with a penalty and extend their lead by 1. So 6-point lead for Canada. I think the buzzer will go off any minute, but it doesn't mean the game is over. Canada with a steal. Just some intense defense there in the circle that denied USA to get that pass, and a high ball by the Canadian team. USA with the throw on. Tipped off by Team Canada, which just delays the game a little bit and allows the clock to run out. Canada with that second win, so they've won the first 2 out of 3 games in this tri-series. An excellent, excellent effort by both teams. What an incredible game. So fun to watch live fun to watch on the live stream. I hope you've all enjoyed this as well. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Leo is going to be commentating tomorrow as I will be off. So this is my farewell, and I appreciate all of you who have tuned in to watch some excellent high-level netball being played by two incredible teams who seem to be having a good laugh, and they know they'll be having a good rest tonight as well. See you all tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m.
Right, so coming back to post-games interviews, I'm here with Greg from Team USA and Terry. And how are you guys doing today?
And Jerry.
And Jerry from Team Canada, yes, sorry. A little nervy. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, good. I think it's been, two really tough games, and we're excited to be here. We know it's going to be a big challenge, so we're feeling good about what's happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're happy to have the USA here. It's been a long time that we've been playing against each other, so it's really exciting.
All right, Greg, just a quick question for you. Where are some of your players geologically from in the States?
So the United States is such a big country with so many states. We have players that come from the East Coast, from the West Coast, and then a couple that run through the center of the US. So geographically, it's very difficult to get the group together on a regular basis. We spend a lot of time through Zoom meetings, working remotely with athletes, keeping their individual athlete plans prepared and up to date, and giving them a bit of ownership and accountability around what their own development looks like in between camps that we hold for the squad to get together.
That is true, and you have so many new pieces too with the debuting players as well, and just learning how to combine their individual styles into your coaching culture, right?
Yeah, I think we went to Dubai last year and we recognised some gaps that we had in the squad, so we looked to fill those gaps with players that were new to the USA team. They all bring a different flavour, and I think that's the exciting thing about USA is that we've got various cultures all coming in to fit one USA netball culture, and then I've got to try and manage the leadership style and coaching style that I have. But I think most of the athletes have really taken that on. The direction and the structure that we've implemented into the program has made a huge difference, and we've seen, Canada are ranked 25 in the world, so we've got to pay a lot of respect to that level of netball, and I think we're taking them to that challenge and doing every bit we can to make their job hard to win the games.
Right. Looking towards the future, you guys have a lot of good things to come.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you for your time today.
You're welcome.
All right. Moving on to Jerry. I just wanted to ask you a bit about how, as a Team Canada player in the past, previous, and also someone who's been on the coaching staff for many years now, how does that fit in with your growth towards your netball career, just in total, and your netball growth?
So my netball growth, so I was on the Canadian team as a player for about 20 years, and I retired in 2001. And not only am I involved with Team Canada, but I'm also involved heavily in the provincial coaching, and I'm the umpiring director for Quebec. So for me, it's keeping netball alive across Canada. And like in the US, we have the same geographical issues where we're on the West Coast, we're on the East Coast. We don't have the money to come together very often, but when we do, we try to put as much work in as possible. So it's great for me to be here as a player and now on the coaching staff. It's really an honor.
Of course, and as Canada goes 2-0 into this tournament, what are some things that you think your team still needs to do?
I think because we haven't played together as a team for the past few months, we still have these little things where we need to meld together. I think our biggest thing is our passing, getting that feel for each other, not overpassing, and being confident with each other.
Right, of course. It just takes time when it comes to learning a new player's playing style and getting used to where they want that pass and where they want to go. Right, just it takes time on both sides.
It does, yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Moving on to the next part of the interview, we're going to get into our defensive players some of our defensive players. So with me, I have
Terry Ann Julian.
Julian and
Abby Dobson.
Abby Dobson, yes. I had to fangirl for a second because as a defensive player, I was in awe by the both of you on either side of the court. I bet you guys hated the other one. As soon as one would get the steal, the other one would steal it back. Right. I think coming as a player myself, I want to ask you guys kind of a personal question. In terms of you're getting mentally prepared for tournaments, how do you take the time to really reset during games where it's okay, I missed this one steal, but I'm going to focus and go for the next one without getting down with yourself. So how do you mentally prepare before tournaments?
Personally, I like to take a deep breath, reset myself. I do this little thing with myself that to reset me, and then get on the body, work for the next one, and hope for the best.
And you had great success with that, especially in that shooting circle, really forcing them to have to go through your body or denying that, which you did phenomenally.
Thank you.
And Terry?
For me, I do a lot of self-talk. So then it doesn't go. I might like tap myself on the side. I'm like, okay, team, get it together. Next one, and next one. But also like our coach Anne has done a really good job in trying to get us like to do a full count breath and just reset. Just do that breath. Take your time to calm down and not be so agitated, and then just focus on the next pass and the next pass. Because then I'm not thinking only about myself, but I'm thinking about the team as well. Because then if I tuned out, then that means they have one player less, mindset in the game. So yeah.
Great answer. Really good insight on the whole fact that I am not just one person, I am part of a team. We are one. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for you guys. Great job. Look forward to watching you guys again tomorrow. All right. Wish you guys both the luck. All right. And to our right, we got the shooters. Oh, finally. Okay. She needs no introduction. She is LaDonna. Right? I kind of introduced you, but sorry. Vice captain from Team USA, we have
Gabby Woods.
Gabby Woods. Thank you again for coming and doing this interview. We are lucky to have you guys here, especially with Team USA having to travel all the way up here. We are so lucky to have you guys. Just thank you overall. Right. As far as your question, I just wanted to get into an idea into your guys' mind about how to reset after a miss or a second chance opportunity that didn't go your way. How do you calm yourself in that moment, being like, okay, I need to focus about what happens in the next play rather than what I can't change in the past? Would anyone like to start? You start? Okay.
I think in part of USA we talk about moments. So no matter whether it's a miss, a bad pass, it's about moving on to the next moment. So not trying to forget it, but compose yourself. And then we all know we can shoot. That's why we're on a national team, and having confidence in our ability and having confidence in the players around us that we know we can get it in. So just taking a breath, getting all the breathing back down, and then just try again.
I love the fact that you use confidence, and that is a lot of it. As much as the time and practice and skill goes into that, if you don't have the confidence, at the end of the day, you're always going to psych yourself out. But taking the time in and realizing I am here for a reason. Really great answer.
For me, it's taking those deep breaths. It's very physical in the circle. So for me, it's just like taking a deep breath and remembering that, I'm strong and I'm here for a reason. And just believing in myself. Yeah.
I mean, for physicality, for sure, you made it look easy, especially with your rebounding. So for sure, seeing you do it is much easier than you probably doing it, but easy did you make it look. All right. Thank you both for doing this interview, and I wish you guys both luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Ah! Great job, Leo. Are we done?